Well, I was discussing about how to create activity in Android application. It means how to create the page and how to move from one page to another page. So in the last session I have explained how to create the page. I will repeat the steps once again, and we will move to how to navigate between different pages. Okay, so let us start. So in the last session I have created page 2 and I have created one XML file. It is page 2 XML file. Okay, so in the same way we will try to create one more XML file and one more Java class. I'll close all these files. Okay, already you have one page 3 here. I will remove that. You can delete it. Select, right click, delete. Okay, now your application contains two pages, home page and page 2. Now let us try to create one more page. As I explained in the last session, the steps are like this. Android application consists of different pages. Each page it requires two files. One is XML file where you have to design the UI, and the Java file in which you can provide the action to UI. Okay, so let us start creating one more page here. The steps, if you don't know, you can note it down. Open the resource folder. We will create first XML file. So open the resource folder, open layout folder, then select layout, right click, go to new option, select Android XML file. If you don't have this option here, you can click on other. Here you will find an option called as Android. Open that folder and you can select the Android XML file. Here it is. Okay, so click on next button. You have to give the name for the XML file. So I'll give it as page 3, and as usual you have to display the layout in the page. So select any layout. So as we have discussed about basic layouts like linear, relative and table layout, I will use the linear layout. Later on you can change it if you wish. Click on finish. So here is your page 3 as we have created last time. It is retaining the content. You can delete it, not an issue. Okay, so this is how you can create the XML file. Now you can add any UI component to your page. Okay, now if you want to give the action to these UI components, obviously you have to create the Java file for this. So how to create the Java file? Open the source folder, open your package, select the package, right click, go to new option, select class. You have to provide the class name. I will name it as page 3. Remember, it has to start with uppercase letter, and also here it should show the source folder and package. If not, you have to create the class once again. Okay, so click on finish button. So here is your page 3 class. So as I explained, if you want to create a page or if you want to make this class as an activity, this class has to extend the activity class. So type extends activity. Always use control space to see the options. Okay, so as you can see in the home screen, each and every activity should contain the onCreate method, because onCreate method is the first method which will be executed in any page. Okay, so let us create onCreate method. Type onCreate. You can see the option here, onCreate, which accepts the bundle. So select onCreate, align the things. Now after super call, what should be the first statement? As I explained, the Java file and the XML file are two different files. Now you have to combine both of them. It means the Java class has to understand to which XML file it has to give the action. So for that, use the statement set content view. Here is the set content view. For that, you give the path of the XML file to which your page 3 class has to give the action. Okay, now we have to give action to page 3 XML file. You can see this, it is inside the layout folder, and the layout folder is inside the resource folder. Okay, so for that I will give the path here, r dot layout dot page 3. Okay, now rest of the steps, if you want to give action to any component, for example if you want to give the action for the button, here it contains the button, so you have to declare the button variable. And you have to initialize that. All these steps I have explained before in the previous sessions. Find that button using the ID, find view by ID. It is r dot id dot your button, because we haven't changed the ID, it is showing button 1. Okay, end the statement. So rest of the things are same. Now let us try to move from your home page to page 2 or page 3. So if you want to navigate between pages, it means if you want to move from home page to page 2 or page 3, okay, there is one concept called as intents. Okay, we will see what are intents first, then I'll come to this class and I'll explain how to move from one page to another page. Okay, so let us start with intents. So what is an intent? Basically, intent is a class which carries the source address and destination address. As I told, intent helps to navigate between pages. It means you have to intimate the intent. You have to tell the intent from which activity to which activity it has to move. Okay, it means I will show the syntax. You can say intent is a class which carries the information of source address and destination address. Okay, source address and destination address. Okay, I will show the syntax here, how to create the intent. It is, you have to create the object of an intent class. Intent I is equal to new intent, and it accepts two parameters. As I told, it takes the source address and destination address. So the source address means from which activity, that is I also give something like home activity dot this. Then the second parameter is to which activity, you want to move to which activity, that is something like page 2 dot class. Okay, now this intent carries the information of, this is the source address, you have to move from home activity to page activity. This is the destination address. Now after creating the intent, you have to start the activity, means you have to start the page. For that you have one method called as start activity. For that method you pass the intent variable. So this will help you to navigate between home page and page 2. Okay, you have different types of intents like implicit intents, and explicit intents. Okay, so as of now whatever we are doing here means inside an application you are moving from one page to another page. So this concept is called as explicit intent concept. Okay, I'll explain the implicit intents later once after covering like application structure, what is Android manifest file, and how to use the components which are present in different application. So at that time I will explain what are implicit intents. As of now, this is the requirement to navigate between different pages. So for that you have to use the explicit intent. I will repeat the things. Intent helps to navigate between different pages. Okay, you can say intent is a class which carries the information of source address and destination address. The syntax to write the intent is, here it is, intent I is equal to new intent, your current page and your destination page. Then you have to start the activity, pass the intent variable. Okay, and this intent is called as explicit intent. It means explicitly it is calling another page. Okay, so I will explain about implicit intents in the later sessions. Okay, now let us start implementing this. So go to your Java code. So here is your home page. This is the application, registration application, where you can enter the name and age. And if you click on the submit button, as of now it is showing the message. Okay, in the last class we have added the validations also. You have to enter the name compulsorily. Okay, if you click on the button, it is showing the name. Now instead of showing this message, if not along with showing this message, if you want to move to next page and if you want to show the message there, or if you want to show the data whatever you have entered here. So how to do that? As I explained, we have to create the different page and you have to navigate from your main page to next page. Okay, so now let us start doing that. So here is your button click listener. Now here we have added the validation. If name field is not entered, it is showing the toast message, please enter the name. If not, it is showing the toast message, what is the name and what is the age user has entered. Now after showing this message, we have to navigate to page 2. So for that what we have to do? As I explained, we have to use the intent. So take intent class, intent, create the object for this. Intent I is equal to new intent. Okay, as I told, it carries the information of source address and destination address. It means your current activity and the activity to which you want to navigate. So currently you are in the home activity or home page. So the first parameter should be home dot this. Then the second parameter is if you want to navigate to page 2. So the second parameter will be page2 dot class. Okay, so the next step is you have to start the page 2. For that, use start activity. Remember, it is showing different options here. Select start activity which accepts the intent variable. So select start activity. You have the intent variable called as I. So select I, end the statement. Okay, so this will take you to your page 2. Now let us check it out whether it is working or not. So select the application, right click, run as, run configurations. All these steps I have explained in the previous sessions. If you don't know, you can look into the previous sessions. Okay, already it has selected the registration application. So select the target, always prompt to pick the device so that you can choose the device on which you want to deploy the application. Apply the settings and then run. Okay, it is asking, okay, currently one device is running, so you can select that device, click on OK. You can check the status in the console. So it is installing the registration application. Well, here is your application. Now I will enter the name and I will enter the age also. So click on submit button. So unfortunately registration has stopped. So what we are doing in the on click, we are trying to move from your home page to page 2. Your home page to page 2. So at that time it is showing the error. So how to see this error? It is showing the error. It has been stopped the application. Now where we have to see that error? For that you have one tool called as Logcat. Okay. So if you don't find this here, you can go to window. You can click on show view. Here you can find the Logcat. If you don't have the option Logcat here, you can click on other and you can open the Android folder. Here you will find the Logcat. Okay, I will repeat it once again. Logcat is used to see the log messages both from the system and also from your application. Okay, now as we got the error while running the application, whenever you clicked on the button, it has shown an error. Unfortunately, the application has been closed. So why it has been closed? That you have to check it in the Logcat. Here is the Logcat, which is a tool where you can see the log messages or the error messages. Okay, so to open the Logcat, if you don't have the Logcat in your Eclipse, if you have to find it in the window. Click on window, go to show view. You will find the Logcat here. If not, you have to click on other and open the Android folder. Here you will find the Logcat. Okay, so we have the Logcat here, so we need not open it once again. So now how to see the error message? So here you will find some red lines. So it is showing the fatal exception. So the exception is activity not found exception. Means whenever you have clicked on this button, you are trying to move to a page 2, but it is saying I am not able to find the page 2 in your application. So what is the reason? We have added the page 2 here. but still Android system not able to find the page 2. Okay, I will explain this error. Before that we will see where exactly you are getting the error. So this is the activity not found exception, but where you are getting that exception means you can look for the package name. Here it is com.example.registration. you can see the package here in your source folder, com.example.registration. with the same package you have home class. In that you have the onClick method. In the onClick method you have the exception at the line 39. Okay, so if you click on this, double click, okay, registration application, here you have the exception. You can see that blue line. Okay, so it is saying here is the exception, means whenever you are trying to start the activity, means which activity, it is page 2, at that time it is showing an error that activity is not present in your application. So what is the reason? Okay, and how to solve this problem? So those things I will explain in the next tutorial, because to explain that you should know the structure of application, what all these folders contain, why you need those folders, and what is the importance of all these folders and files. Okay, so after explaining that, I'll come back to this problem and we will solve the problem and we will see how to navigate between different pages.